Well, welcome, Aries. I'm Karen. This is Veronica's Dreams Coaching and Tarot. This reading is what, excuse me, I call a personal growth reading. Got a tickle. And we'll take a look at, well, I'll pull the bottom of the deck is usually the situation, but we'll take a look at blocks, um, your fears, your strengths or hopes, um, what you don't see, advice, and where it leads. So it's kind of like overall, it is talking about a situation because usually our blocks are from a situation, but um, it's more just to help you see where you're at. So let's get started. I'm going to shuffle it a couple more times. Again, we'll do 2 cards for the blocks, 2 cards for your fears, 2 cards for your hopes or strengths, depending, and then depending on what the cards are and how they lie. What you don't see or what you are very unaware of, and then your advice and where it leads. Okay, let's do this. And this is for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising. Keep in mind, these I do consider timeless. However, the time frame I'm doing them is end of February through the end of March. But they really are timeless. I really do feel like they can help you at any given time because it's a guide to kind of see where you're at. If this does not resonate, please check out your other placements. And I'll be doing these all week for the remainder of the signs, so it may take a few days before the other signs. So let's see what we got, Aries. What do we have? Okay. Whew. Blocks, please. Mm-hmm. 10 of Cups. 3 of Swords. Fears. Sun. 6 of Pentacles. Strengths or hopes. Knight of Swords. Judgment. It's making sense, I think. What you are unaware of. Knight of Wands. 4 of Pentacles. Okay. Advice. I'll pull advice, Ace of Wands, and then where does this lead, please? 4 of Wands. So the bottom of the deck is strength. So I do feel like this could be about your overall I feel like this is an inner conflict with your strength. Like, I don't want to say I don't think all Aries believe they are strong. I'm an Aries, I know this. But you're the first sign in the zodiac, so it's really hard to say this is about you feeling like you're not strong. However, I do feel like there's probably a situation where you don't feel strong, or you feel like your strength is getting in the way of something. Could be that as well. As we get into it, you'll be able to, but it does have to do with your overall strength, and not just that, like your staying power, right? So we have the 10 of Cups and the 3 of Swords in your blocks. I feel like the block is very simple. I feel like that you are disappointed or hurt often in relationships. And this could be any kind of relationship. friendship, deep relationships though. I feel like when you start getting deep, the block is that you are worried about having your heart broken. Um, I, I feel like maybe that's happened, or you worry about it. And this is definitely hard because if you steer away from deep relationships, regardless of what those are, because you're afraid of getting hurt or disappointed, but it feels more like hurt. You're afraid of getting hurt. That will you just stay away from relationships? And that's kind of where you're at. If this resonates, so the fear, you have Sun and Six of Pentacles. So there's a couple different, I think these are two different things. So the Six of Pentacles, we'll get to that one because it's the easiest, it's right on my mind, is it's the give and take that you get disappointed about. I feel like you may feel like you give a lot, or you're afraid you can't give enough. It's one of the two, and everybody's going to be a little bit different. And the reason why everyone's different is, keep in mind, our other placements play a strong role in our relationships. So our sun sign isn't always top at our relationships, but in this case, in some cases, if you are a lot of fire in your chart, I would say you know that you might be selfish. And I don't mean selfish in a bad way, but fire signs, we have a tendency to have high expectations. But if not, then let's just say you have more water. I don't know, but let's just say, I'm just using it as an example. You may give a lot in relationships and you don't get in return, or you give and then you get hurt. Again, it's a fear, like how much do I give without getting hurt? And that goes either way, whether you're what side of the coin you're on, whether you're afraid that you won't give too much or whether you're afraid you'll give too much. It doesn't matter, because it's all about, if it's not even, then how am I going to sustain a relationship? And I think this is a very honest, so far it's very honest to me, this reading. It's not like, it's you being very real with yourself. And that's good, because when you're real with yourself, you can navigate it. But the sun tells me that I think you're almost afraid. I don't know if it's afraid of being happy or afraid of finding happiness. And I think that there is a piece of you that's afraid to try to find that true happiness. And since we're talking about the blocks being a relationship specifically, I would say in a relationship, you're worried about that. If you're more of the more fire in your chart, or lean really towards your sun sign Aries, if that's who's watching, then I feel like relationships are hard when you're a fire sign, especially Aries, because you tend to you're such a leader that in a relationship, that give and take, we're going back to that Six of Pentacles, the give and take, so there is that fear of, will a relationship bring me joy? Or, and even maybe more importantly, if I find joy, am I going to, the Three of Swords, am I going to get my heart broke? Or can I not ever find joy in a relationship because I'm so afraid of having my heart broke? I mean, there's a lot to these two cards right now with your fears, and they're legit. Like, they're not made up in your head. I feel like that's what I mean when I say I feel like this is something that's real and you're dealing with it. It's not just something you're thinking. You know your personality, you know what's happened in the past, you know these things. So you're really like, you're trying to be real with yourself. And if there's a relationship on the horizon, be real with that. And I think that that's good, because, you know, the more real we are, we can actually have a relationship, because we can talk about those things with the partner and say, hey, here's my concerns. You know, here's my personality. Here's how I know I am, and what's important to me. And, you know, then you can also hear what's important to them. And then you either rectify that or don't. However, I do feel like you've got some really good strengths here, because the Knight of Swords and the Judgment. First off, I feel like the Judgment is saying, because you're so attuned to who you are, that you can rekindle yourself. And I'm not saying change, because we are who we are. And these readings aren't about changing as much as they are about presenting you with thoughts. And I feel like you know that. But I feel like, too, that you have the ability to come back out of that come back out alive and well and good. So here's the thing. Even when you get hurt, you are almost better for it. Does that make sense? Like, it teaches you something new about yourself, and you become even more self-aware, and then you are revitalized again. And that's a very good strength to have. And I think it's staying power as well. That yes, it sucks to get hurt, especially if you give a lot, you know, if you're a giver. And I think whoever this resonates it is, then, you know, you're going to learn. You could get hurt, but you have it within you to come back. Now, the Knight of Swords, I also feel like, because this is here, it also gives you that ability to come into a relationship and just do what I said, like talk about it. Like, here's where I'm at. Here's what I need. Here's where I've failed in the past. I don't know that I can do it any differently, because this is who I am. And you have that conversation. And I feel like and I feel like with the Knight of Swords there is, you can be as clear can be about this. And you do it with gusto as well, because you're not going to be timid about it. And not that you need to be a jerk. You can just be open and honest and real. And that's a really good strength to have. And I really feel like these cards are really speaking a lot, you know, too, because I love this reading for you, because when I feel like this is reading for those of you who already know this, and you know this to be true, so you have the best chance of working through it and figuring out how to overcome some of these situations. So what you don't see, or what you are unaware of, is the Knight of Wands with the Four of Pentacles. These are two solidly different energies. To me, the Knight of Wands is all about, you know, something coming in really fast with a lot of passion, and the Four of Pentacles is all about holding on to things. So I do see this as kind of interesting. But what I do feel like this is what you are unaware of is there is something really, some real good passion coming in towards you. Whether that's somebody, could be, or something, could be. You don't see it yet, but it's coming towards you. And the Four of Pentacles, what you're unaware of is, and this is the one to watch out for, is that you might be holding on too tightly to something in the past. Like you've got it so wrapped up, and you're assuming that that's what's going to happen next, that you're not willing to give something another chance. But this Four of Pentacles really is a reminder, like, how hard do you want to hold on to the past or something that's happened in the past, even if you've been hurt several times. When we give all of ourselves, if that's the type of person you are, and some areas don't. I mean, honestly, I'm a combo. Like I do have a lot of water in my. That's why I was using that as an example. So I know, like, I feel a lot. Um, but when my Aries fire takes over, watch the heck out, because it's strong, and and it holds no punches. I mean, I don't hold back. However, I do give everything. So I do feel this whole thing as quite real to me. So if you're holding on so tightly to a way that you were, or the way that things have happened in the past, then that's going to be just something to watch for, because I don't think you realize how much you're holding something onto something, whether it's a belief, a thought, a person. I feel like this has to do with relationships. So you could be holding on to a person from the past that maybe you did really care about, that really hurt you, that you wished you could have done things differently with. But more importantly, I think it's more about you're holding on to, I need to handle things this way, instead of going, okay, I really need to open up here and give and take type deal. But I think with that Knight of Wands, it's what you're unaware of is there is some kind of energy that's really coming in. And I think it's going to strike your passion again, because I feel like with what you're doing here and working through this process is you're opening yourself up to new things. And I think you're taking on a better attitude to begin with. I really do. But I will tell you, so I'm going to go straight to the advice, and then I'll tell you where it leads. So the advice is the Ace of Wands. I'm sorry. I feel like stick with your passion. That's what Aries are good at. Like, they've got the passion. Stick with it. That's what you do. That's who you are as a fire sign, especially as the leader of the fire signs, a leader of all signs. You have that torch. You can do what you do, man. You are a born leader. You are a born motivator. And you're self-motivated, and you have a ton of passion, man. Ton of fire, right? Ton of passion. So as you use that. Don't forget about that, because that's who you are. That's your makeup. And when you can really hone in on your passions and what really fires you up, then you can let go of that hurt a little bit, and just let it go. So, the reminder is grab onto that passion, like really grab onto it. And I do feel like there could be something really good happening here. I will tell you, I feel really positive about this, because I feel like you're really working through this, and I feel like you might be looking for a relationship if this resonates. It could be other situations. So this could be non-relationship, non-love. But I do feel like there's something coming in, and I'll tell you why, because it leads to the Four of Wands. Now, it doesn't have to be love, but the Four of Wands to me is definitely a marriage card, but it's more importantly a celebration card. So I do feel like what this leads to is when you take that Ace of Wands and use what's truly yours, your God-given talents, just what's in you, fire, passion, leadership, motivation, all of this energy, you take that and just move forward, man. Move forward, and it will lead to you celebrating. I do feel like there is something coming in, though. I really do. With that Knight of Wands and what you're unaware of is there is something headed in. How long that will be, I don't know. But there is something headed in, and is it somebody? It could be. I think for some of you it is. But for some of you, it is the energy. And I think once you tap back into not worrying about getting hurt getting over that block's not going to be easy, but you're on the road to that because the cards are already telling me that you're doing the work. You know, even if you're not doing the work, you've recognized you've recognized a lot of what's happening already. So even if you're not actually doing the work, you've recognized it, and then you lead to celebration. And I mean, I'm not going to pull more cards. Sometimes I do, but I'm not, because regardless of what comes after the celebration, this is an important step, because you're going to it's celebrating yourself. Even if it's not wedding, or it doesn't even matter if it is. It's still about you getting to a point where you can really celebrate what you've done, who you are. And that's super important. But yeah, good cards, Aries, and good job, because I feel like if you're watching this and it resonates, you have recognized certain things. We can't fix everything like this, and who we are is who we are, and that's important. And yeah, we need to compromise sometimes, and I know that's hard, but we don't need to change. There's a difference. Compromise is different than changing. We grow, and which your strength is that you do grow. So, you know, growing's different too. It's not we're going to change to be with somebody, or we're going to change so that we can have a relationship, or no. We're going to grow and we're going to learn, but we're not going to change for somebody. We will work on ourselves. I think that's really good. I mean, honestly, I do. So there you have it. I hope that resonated. Please let me know if it did. I appreciate that. And thank you. Take care and have a beautiful day.